is the hardcore legend, Mick Foley. Well, hello and welcome to Gimme a Oh Yeah. I hope everyone there, right there in Yorkshire, is having a nice day. Bang, bang. Have a nice day. Yeah.
Hello and a very warm welcome to the Gimme a Oh Yeah Wrestling Podcast. My name is Ant and today I'm joined by my regular podcast partner,
Dumb.
And it's 5:30 in the morning, so we're going to get this review done. But a really good pay-per-view. What do you think overall, Dom?
I give about 3.5 out of 5.
Okay, cool. I thought it was a really good show, really solid show. Like, every match was pretty solid. There was only a couple of issues with the show. I don't know if there was anything really exciting that sort of pushed it over the edge, like perhaps Double or Nothing had. But I'd say that'd be my sort of overview of the show.
I think the FTR tag win's pretty big. The fact that MJF didn't win, which we all called, obviously in the stream with the Wrestle Story. There was a lot of surprises there, including the basically it's in the title, the three big moments. One was, of course, the tragic Matt Hardy bump, and I suppose you could have a fourth honourable mention for Matt Bourne or Matt Seidel's
dear
debut. but yeah, not too bad. A couple of unwarranted bumps, particularly. I mean, the accidental one for Matt, but Darby Allin's one was completely unwarranted. There's a
not needed.
There's a lot of that tonight, I think, for shock value. Some entertaining moments. Kip Sabian having a clear dig at WWE. I think you were in the bathroom at that point.
With the Twitch thing.
He did the Twitch thing, yeah, and he said, you could promote his Twitch and whatever. So that was obviously a nice little dig at WWE.
Good.
I think for me, the tag match was quality. That was
really good.
By far and away my top match.
I agree.
Omega's heel work at the end of it was fantastic. Obviously, hinting towards the cleaner.
I mean, it was great, but I also sort of wish that we had a little bit more. I wish we're going to have to tune in on Wednesday to find out exactly what's happening there. But I just wish we had a tiny bit more. Yeah. Something with Adam Page, like that's just a tiny bit more. But I guess we have to tune in on Wednesday to see what that's all going to entail.
Yeah. How it develops.
Let's start going through the matches then, Dom. Let's go for the pre-show. We started off with Joey Janela versus Serpentico.
I mean, obviously a kind of a sleeper match for many, but I really like Joey Janela. I love. I'm not really a great fan of Serpentico, but I love Sonny Kiss. Sonny Kiss is always really entertaining. So I like their tag team. So it's pretty great to see them doing so well and having a spot. I'm really, really weirded out by Luther, but it was really interesting during the stream to research. He's actually been doing it for 30 years.
Yeah,
he's a 51-year-old dude. Who looks like a Hot Topic goth teenager, but
but he was in ECW.
He was in the original ECW.
Mad.
He's had loads of matches with the Bucks in Japan, which is what led to him being signed. So I've been wondering why they signed Luther quite a lot, to be honest. But it was nice to see him out there with Serpentico.
It was, yeah. Look, it was a fine match. It was good pre-show.
Joey's fun. Joey's a fun performer, and you know what? Even though it was kind of, like I say, a lot of people will look at it and be like, "Oh, that was a highlight of the night." It was pretty fun,
It was fine. The problem is, I don't think it's going to cause anyone to buy the pay-per-view because it was just basically what you'd get on AEW Dark, which is fine, and it was a good match. But like, give Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela versus Private Party and give them a little bit longer time, and we would have had a real sort of good start to the pre-show. And it's exactly the same with the next match, which was Private Party versus 3 and 4, which is John Silver and Alex Reynolds. Look, John Silver, Alex Reynolds, absolutely fantastic on Being the Elite, but not everyone watches Being the Elite. And so the match didn't really have any sort of stakes,
No. No, I mean it was interesting. It was an interesting start for me, just because I'm a fan of the teams involved. In terms of the Private Party match, I do like Private Party. I think they're a much better version of what WB has in Street Profits. I think they're more athletic and and just more in tune with each other.
Yeah.
The Dark Order, I get more and more impressed with them every week. I was happy as a pre-show. It was pretty strong.
Yeah,
Didn't go on for too long.
There was a real nice sequence of moves from the Dark Order. It was where Silver hit a German suplex while Reynolds did a somersault into a pinning combination on Gwen. That was brilliant.
Yeah,
really cool stuff.
They've been working really hard on their team dynamic. They've been working really hard on the image, of course, and how it's put across on social media. And I've got a lot of time for this kind of, what we would have called cult light.
You love a good cult, don't you?
I do love a good cult. Yeah, I'm all about that. I'm all about drinking the Kool-Aid, man.
Let's go on to the main card, straight onto the main card, which had the tooth and nail match between Dr. Britt Baker and Big Swole.
Yeah, interesting sort of cinematic match in a dentist surgery. A lot of debate as to whether that was Britt Baker's dental surgery, but I don't think it was. They smashed a lot of pictures and a lot of certificates, diplomas. There was some broken glass. There was some punches.
Yeah, there was some nice spots. I like the part where Big Swole especially was on the dental chair and Britt Baker was coming at her with the dental tools. I mean, that is everyone's nightmare of a dentist, right?
Yeah, like stabbing the dental tool into the chair, not being able to get it out.
Yeah, but then, they want that. That was a drill at one point. That was real weird. Yeah. I was like, why does this dentist have a drill? But maybe that's Britt Baker's sadistic side. It was cool. It ended with the bit weird, Giant Gonzalez, Undertaker, WrestleMania 9, where Big Swole got injected with her own serum.
Britt Baker got injected with her own serum.
Yeah,
and then Big Swole managed to put Britt Baker to sleep.
Yeah,
with some gas and air, and that led to Big Swole getting the victory.
Indeed, it was fine. I mean, there wasn't a lot to it, but it was fine for what it did. And if it protects Britt Baker and her injury, and hopefully she'll be back soon, because I can't wait to see her in the ring, man.
Yeah, well, it really protected her, and I think it put over Big Swole, which is, she's not really been on my radar as a top performer, but maybe this is the launching pad she needs to be taken more seriously.
I think it is, man.
Certainly by me. Obviously, I'm just one guy, but I enjoyed watching her work. I enjoyed the spots where she punched Reba through the diploma. I enjoyed some of the moves. I really like her moveset now. So I've become a bit more exposed to her, and I think she's a great talent.
And that's the point of this as well. You've got someone on injury and you're still able to put two people over at the same time. And I think that's genius. Next match, we had the Young Bucks versus the Jurassic Express. Matt and Nick Jackson versus Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. What do you think, dude?
Every time Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy come out, man, I get more and more entertained. I think their movesets are fantastic. The Bucks, obviously, they're big spot callers. They do a lot of spots. I think Mr. G said that that was their only issue. That was his only issue with them, is that they are big spot callers and they do a lot of sort of choreographed stuff. And I mean that has its place, of course, as we're watching a form of ballet almost, and that's fine. But I think that Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy really are onto something massive. A lot of kids are getting behind them. A lot of people our age are getting behind them because it's entertainment.
It's fun.
Suspending your disbelief when a dinosaur and a Mowgli character from sort of Jungle Book are on a wrestling show, and I think their movesets, particularly Luchasaurus, he bowls me over with just how athletic he is. For his size.
Kicks, man. I mean, the kicks are great, and the Young Bucks did a great job of selling them. I think Young Bucks get too. I mean, this is a big conversation. I don't want to go into it now, but the Young Bucks get too much of a bad rap for being bad spots guys, because they actually did some really good wrestling in this match. There was a lot of really good avoidance of that kick, which I thought was really good and really put over Luchasaurus's kick. Yeah. There was some really nice heel work where they'd taken either Jungle Boy, Nick Jackson had taken one of them off with a super kick. It was Luchasaurus with a super kick, while Jungle Boy went for the tag at the same time and then laughed at Jungle Boy. Oh, excuse me. Actually, they did brilliant. I thought they did a really good job. I thought the match was great, and I thought there was so many close finishes. It was a great match to start the night.
Yeah, It wasn't. I think it really pushed again the validity of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, and even the faction itself, because Marco Stunt was there for some entertaining moments.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he had some good spots. Yeah, I don't think the Young Bucks should have won. I don't think there was any need for him to win whatsoever.
No, I agree. I think that, like I say, it served to put over Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, but it would have been better had they won, I think.
Yeah, the Bucks won with a BTE trigger. Let's go straight into the 21-man casino battle royale. Some big spots here. Our order of entry, we had Trent, Christopher Daniels, Jake Hager, The Blade, Ray Phoenix coming first. Look, I really like this style of battle royal because it really gives you it's similar to a Royal Rumble in many respects. But at the same time, there were some spots that felt a bit messy in this match as well. There was the next 5 out was Frankie Kazarian, Will Hobbs, which was a real surprise. And
he's really entertaining though. I like Will Hobbs.
It lasted a long time.
Yeah, every time I've seen him, he's got better and better.
Chuck Taylor, Santana Ortiz, Billy Gunn, Penta El Zero Miero, Ricky Starks, Brian Cage, Darby Allin, and then Sean Spears, Eddie Kingston, The Butcher, Sonny Kiss, Lance Archer. And then the Joker card. The one we never saw coming.
Which is funny in context, of course, with the Joker, in terms of how it came across. Matt Sydal, who of course will be known as Matt Bourne to the WWE universe. He's had a run in TNA. I think he's done a lot of stuff in Japan. Very, very talented guy. One of the best, high flyers considered certainly in the last few years in the wrestling world. Unfortunately, not his night in terms of at least instantaneously. He had some good spots afterwards.
Worst debut ever?
Yeah, it's definitely up there.
One of.
Definitely up there.
Certainly in ring, yeah.
In terms of the first moment, yeah, but you look at the rest of his performance and it wasn't bad.
It was fine. It didn't really do outstanding. I mean, I would have expected him to go back up and hit the shooting star press at some point. Basically, what happened, what Dom's alluding to, is he climbed the top turnbuckle. He came out, punched someone, climbed the top turnbuckle very confidently, and straight away slipped off. Came tumbling to the floor, which was hilarious.
Yeah, not ideal, but he'll bounce back, so to speak. No pun intended, of course. I think it'll be interesting to see what they do with him because he's a great talent. Maybe he'll slide back into the AEW hearts in the same way that Titus O'Neil did in the WWE universe. You just gotta keep sliding. You know what I mean? Keep on sliding.
It was one of the funniest moments since that. It was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, it was funny.
Let's talk about a couple of moments in the match. We had, obviously, Cage and Archie going at it quite a bit. We had Cage putting Darby Allin into a body bag. Fine, I get it. With thumbtacks, yeah, fine. Okay, get it, fine. Do a spot in the ring, fine, right? Come out and he can be all bloody or whatever. He didn't. He did like a razor's edge over the top rope, but it was onto that sort of hard part of the ramp. Okay, fine. Spot's fine. Stairs, man. Stairs. And he's in a body bag. He can't see where he's landing. Yeah. And It looked like he hit his head. It looked like he had people coming up to look after him. It's a really dangerous spot for not a massive moment. And we talked about this in our Wrestling Rewind reviews when was talking about Mick Foley and how, like, why are you taking bumps for Henry Godwin? Why are you destroying your body for Henry Godwin? And I think Darby Allin needs to know when to do these spots and when not. And I don't think this was necessary.
No, I think Jim Cornette called him out on it as well. I mean, obviously, as much as we are both fans of Darby's work, he's not going to have a long career with spots like that.
Not like that, man. Not like that.
And of course, it wasn't the first time that kind of thing happened tonight, where it was a really concerning spot.
Indeed.
But really, like I say, decent battle royal.
It was okay.
Lance Archer wins at the end.
He did.
Which was my prediction.
Against Eddie Kingston at the end, and they had a really nice little moment, especially with Jake winding him up with the snake. That was really cool.
But never actually getting the snake out, just chucking.
There wasn't any snake in it. I really enjoyed that moment. I thought that was a lot of fun. Cool. So let's go straight on to the next match. It's Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara. I see that we've got awesome people in chat. Hello, Botch Guy. Hello, Sammy Talks. We tend to do the review and then... hello, Emma. Sorry, as well. We tend to do all comments at the end, so we'll just get through the review and then we'll read all your comments. Hope that's okay. It's for when people are watching it back. Rock and roll. Then we get Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara.
Yep. Obviously, I'd gone to the bathroom.
Shall I do this one then?
Yeah,
cool.
just
So
this
Matt Hardy's out at the back near the Jag Stadium. Sammy Guevara comes in. Sorry, go on.
What I was going to say was I came back and all this stuff had happened. The match was over by all accounts.
Yeah, so Matt Hardy is outside in the Jag Stadium calling out for Sami. Sammy Guevara comes in the golf carts and they get the golf cart spotting, which is really cool. I mean, it's nice to see Sami riding after Damascus or Matt Hardy. The problem is they went up on a genie, did the spot on the tables, and Matt Hardy proper overshot the table. Whether it was his fault, Sammy Guevara's fault, I don't know. Matt Hardy was completely knocked out of it, man. I mean, it was terrible. And he was concussed. He tried to get up. He tried to walk with Sami, and he couldn't even walk. Aubrey calls for the X's, and we're all like, okay, cool. Let's shut off the match.
Yeah.
A few minutes later.
They actually go and do that. The commentators actually say, it's time, they've got to look after the health and safety of the talent. And then, of course, the next thing we see is Matt Hardy going after Sami, and they carry on. And they carry on
the match. I mean, that call, whether it's Matt Hardy's call, whether it's the doctor's call, we could all see that it was wrong. And that's why Twitter's going mental. And that's why people watch it. It felt uncomfortable, man. And not only was it wrong, right? They didn't carry on with the rest of the match. What they did is the end spot, the big high spot, where Matt Hardy climbs up a load of scaffolding after that. Are you having a laugh?
Yeah, he
stupid.
Clearly slipped a few times.
Yeah, and a cameraman really fell off. Because probably with all the confusion that was happening. And like, they didn't get as high as I expected wanted to. You could see Sami say, look, we're stopping here because you're out of it. And then fall off and do a spot.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have carried on. Shouldn't have carried on. Should have called off. But, if Matt Hardy was saying he was okay, if he's not okay, don't let it happen. We've all got egos and we all say we're okay when sometimes we're not. That shouldn't have happened, man.
No,
cool.
Shouldn't have happened at all. But I think it's time to end that feud now. To be honest, it seems you mentioned in the stream how you think it's cursed, and yeah,
I just think it's time to move on. They've had a string of bad luck, and move on. Come back to it in the future if you want to, but let's move on now. Next match was the AEW's Women's Championship match, which was Hakuri Shida versus Thunder Rosa. Now, in terms of the pay-per-view, it's difficult because we're just in this really sort of weird moment that we all felt a bit uncomfortable about, and are still sort of reeling from that. And I think that affected the match unfairly, absolutely. In terms of the match, it was great. I mean, both of them were really good performers. But the issue for me, I don't know about you, Dom, was Thunder Rosa dominated the first half of the match. Hakuri Shida finished the second half of the match, and then a pin.
I mean, it was very dominating from Thunder Rosa, and I'd love to see more of Thunder Rosa in AEW. Of course, she's the NWA Women's Champion. Really nice collaboration. It's something I'd like to see more of AEW doing with NWA, particularly with guys like Nick Aldis, perhaps, and there's obviously select others as well. But I think that it's really interesting to see them do this collaboration and have Thunder Rosa have that platform on AEW and do a great job. She put some great moves across, showcasing the resilience of Shida to kick out consistently and have a decent match. But it was very formulaic in sort of standard wrestling terms. The somebody gets the leg up, so to speak, and then another person fights back, and then that person that was first dominating then takes over or whatever. There's a very formulaic way of looking at that.
You could have done the exact same match and just split it into two quarters and had Shida get a bit of a comeback and then for Thunder Rosa to come back, and I think it would have been a much better match. I don't think it was very well produced, if I'm perfectly honest.
No, like I say, the chemistry, I think you alluded to the fact the chemistry wasn't really there for them, and I would definitely agree with you on that one.
Both
Shida,
talented.
Yeah, Shida, of course, gets the win, retaining her AEW Women's Championship. But all in all, decent match. I'd give it a 2.5 out of 5. I don't think it was terrible, but certainly more could have been done to improve.
Yeah, I'd say mid-road, man. 2.5, yeah.
terms of something different, because that was very formulaic in terms of wrestling standards.
It was, and I just wanted a little bit more. I think Hakuri Shida's capable of it, and I don't know, Thunder Rosa, maybe that's what they needed. I don't know, but it didn't sell me because of that, even though she's a talented wrestler, obviously. Next up, we had Dark Order, Brody Lee, Colt Cabana, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson versus the Matt Cardona, Scorpio Sky, and the Natural Nightmares, Dustin Rhodes, and QT Marshall.
Yeah, this was actually better than I expected. I always sort of lag on QT Marshall, but he showed some real progression and talent and development in this match. And obviously, every time I see Dustin, I'm like completely blown away by the fact he's still going and can still do a Canadian destroyer. There's actually some really interesting stuff with Colt Cabana. And I think his dynamic with the Dark Order is sort of changing and developing a little bit, and that was actually a sort of added bonus to this match where I wasn't expecting a lot. I would have thought that Matt Cardona would have got the win for the good guys. So
did I, yeah.
That didn't happen. It was actually Dustin.
It was,
and so that was a big deal in itself. The Dark Order, kind of came down really hard because it was Colt Cabana who took the pin. And Colt Cabana, of course, has been selling the fact that he's just part of this sort of team from a match level, but he's not
Did
part
you just
of
say Colt Cabana?
Colt Cabana, yeah.
Colt Cabana, baby.
It's almost like he doesn't know what's going on, and I think that came across at the end. He didn't know what was going on. He didn't know that he was supposed to be part of this Dark Order, sort of, in charge. Brody Lee was in charge, kind of thing. I think that's it's a really interesting dynamic, really, as to why Colt Cabana is a part of the Dark Order, if he is in fact even a part of it. And then, of course, the confusion as to why Brody Lee was so angry at him. The controlling sort of Vince McMahon-esque character that Brody Lee portrays. But yeah, all in all, a better match than I expected. I expected to see more from Matt Cardona. I'm not sure where he goes from here. I think he did give an interview saying beforehand, kayfabe probably, where he said he wasn't employed by AEW. And I would have expected a sort of a feud. There's very clear feuds that come from this, and I think one of them, as you alluded to, is Scorpio Sky versus Brody Lee.
We seem to get a lot of that in the match, yeah.
And of course, now you're going to get Dustin and Brody Lee on Wednesday.
Absolutely, which I can't wait
for. But very, very weird, because I'm not a huge fan of, like I say, I don't know what they're going to do with Matt Cardona, really.
No, Matt Cardona looked great in the match. I mean, every time he was, have you got headphones in?
I don't have headphones in. No, I still have my headphones in my other computer.
All right, I can just hear my echo, that's all. The Matt Cardona looked great in the match, man. Dustin Rhodes looks amazing in the match. In fact, everyone did a really good job. It was fast-paced, it was action. We got Canadian Destroyers from Dustin, which is always nice to see, an old dude being able to do that and still pull them off and do a really good job of it. It was nice to see Anna Jay get involved against Scorpio Sky. That's some interesting stuff there, and can't wait to see how it goes. And I really like at the end of the match, QT Marshall did a really good job as well. I wasn't looking forward to this match, and actually, it was really entertaining. One of the interesting things at the end of the match is it was Evil Uno that is the one that comes and looks after Colt, and it's like, oh, what's going on? And I think that leads to some exciting storylines in the future, so looking forward to where that goes.
Yeah, I would say that Evil Uno is probably the most improved member of the Dark Order in terms of his in-ring ability. So perhaps we see some Colt Cabana Evil Uno team going forward. I think in a few months' time, not for a while, but I think it's been teased tonight, which is an interesting development for the Dark Order.
Absolutely. Next up, we had the AEW World Tag Team Championships. We had Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page versus FTR. I'm
going to let you lead on this one, dude.
Dude, what an awesome match. What an awesome match. Kenny is outstanding, man. His selling in this was great. You had so many old school sort of trying to cheat Revival, but not even as heels, just trying to have the intelligence to get one over of Omega and Page, which was really nice to see. And we saw a little bit earlier on of the sort of Kenny and Hangman coming together and working really well together, doing moves in unison, which was brilliant, which obviously calls to the later part of the night. And we all sort of see what's coming, but it's exciting to see that, and it's a good storytelling technique as well. Great matches, lots of V triggers. I thought, which were really good. I love the V triggers in the the ring ropes. Tiger Driver 99 that Omega hits was brilliant. Sorry, the 98 was really good on Dash Wielder. Then we get a couple of references to the Steiner brothers with the bulldog off the apron, which looked really cool. Then they went and did it in the ring, but I don't know if it looked as cool in the ring. Like they'd just done the sort of bigger spot on the outside, so I didn't really know why that was there. But there was a massive spot where Paige was doing an overhead slam off the top rope with Paige turning so he could land on top of Wheeler, but Wheeler barely kicked out. It was brilliant. And then Omega eventually accidentally hit Paige with the V-trigger, which basically costs them. They take advantage of that and deliver the spike pile driver twice, it turns out, needs to be put down Adam Page. And you see Kenny sort of reaching out and trying to help, but can't actually do anything. Great match. Really good match. What do you think about the match? And then we'll talk about the tease. The tease at the end.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. When that kind of end is done tastefully, I think it's good. It was done with Jungle Boy as well, kicking out of a couple of Young Bucks finishes earlier, and I thought that was okay to really build the resilience of Jungle Boy, and I think it again sells Adam Page in this context, in this match, as a really credible, potentially main event guy.
Oh, he is, yeah.
Over the next 6 months, because he can kick out of a devastating spike pile driver twice. The match overall, brilliant spots. Like I said, really like the Revival's kind of old school work ethic, battling with this kind of, inventive, Kenny Omega and Adam Page sort of dynamic. Like I say, their team coming to an end is actually quite sad because they've put together some of the best tag team matches of the year.
They have, yeah.
If not, of course, the last 10 years, a couple of them. So, it'll be a shame to end that match, but I think it's necessary in terms of the build. Perhaps a Hangman Page joins FTR and they form a Four Horsemen stable. Perhaps we see the return of the Cleaner, Kenny Omega as a heel. There's so many avenues they could go down, but I would say this is my favourite match of the night, just in terms of the action. If I was going to get you to only pick one match to go back to, I would probably say this was the one to do that.
Absolutely, and again another pay-per-view where the best match was the match with Omega in. It's interesting, man. It's an interesting thing that people don't really realise. After the match, obviously, Omega teased hitting Page, didn't, threw it out, went out of the heel rampway, so that's where all the heels come out on the left-hand side of the ring. Who's backstage? Of course, the other potential heels in the Young Bucks. And as he's walking, he's saying he's done, and he's saying that he needs a clean break. Gets in the car and disappears. Now, I sort of wish we got a little bit more. I sort of wish we got a definite beat down of Page or something like that. This felt a little bit different, but if they tell the story right, then it's fine, man. Do you know what I mean? It's like this is just one beat in the story, and sometimes I think as wrestling fans we want the ending and actually tell us that story and let's go on that ride for that story. And obviously they are broke up as a tag team. You're right, they have been a really good tag team, but actually they are both single stars as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
absolutely.
Time. It's time.
Yeah.
Do you have to say on the breakup?
No, well, I think it's time to do it. Like I say, I think it's a good time to do it, and I think it was teased. Yeah, I think it was teased just right, to be honest, at this point. But obviously, we'll see more and more of it develop in terms of a long-term story going forward.
Rock and roll. Next up, we have the Mimosa Mayhem match, baby.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. I think Jericho was on form here, really wanted to put over Cassidy. He saw a couple of really strong sort of Superman punches. I think they're calling that the orange punch now, which obviously led to the end of the match from Cassidy dumping Jericho in the Mimosa. But before that, like I say, it was a tough one to call. There was a lot of back and forth, a couple of really cool table spots where Cassidy goes through the table, and Jericho kind of had his kind of overconfidence. Sort of play into it, really working the crowd because he clearly enjoyed having the crowd back. So yeah, I would say that overall it was a cracking match. In terms of it was well done in terms of the context. They made a Mimosa Mayhem match work in 2020, which was pretty impressive for me.
Bizarre.
I don't know how else they could have improved it, to be honest. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, it was cool. I like the playing of the objective thing. These type of matches can be terrible, like the Kendo on a stick match and all that. They can be so terrible. But actually, the teases over the Mimosa really worked. Cassidy and Jericho both did a great job of selling both the fear of it and and trying to get them in without it looking too corny, which sometimes in these type of cases, whether it's a kendo stick on a pole or a baton on a pole, it can look really corny and it can really ruin the matches. Actually, they did a really good job of just having a match around that, but also giving really nice teases to that, which I enjoyed, man. I enjoyed. Obviously, Jericho got the orange punch into it, fell in and looking like he was a rock star in a jacuzzi of orange juice, baby.
Yeah, I think it was good to put over Cassidy. We'll see what happens next. Maybe a more high profile match. Of course, Jericho doesn't really need the win. Jericho will find something and somebody to fight with. So I think that all in all, it was the right result and the right call.
Absolutely agree with you, Dom. And then we get to the main event. It was MJF versus Moxley. So a long night, long pay-per-view actually, which is good.
I'm gonna let you call this one as well, dude.
Moxley, look, they started off with some technical ring mat wrestling with MJF sort of getting the better of him. They had a couple of really nice spots in the match where MJF would do something to Moxley and then try it again because MJF, now he knows that it works, it's going to work, but actually Moxley would fake out of it. So there was a nice part where he went out the ring and MJF would quickly get in the ring like you do on 2K20 because you're really annoying when you play that game. Clever. But MJF was even cleverer, which isn't really a word. And Moxley stopped and didn't actually go out the ring, which was really cool. There's some really nice stuff with that. Obviously the bleeding spot. We had people in chat saying it was from the turnbuckle, but it didn't really feel deserved.
Right.
Even if it was the ring and Moxley had the ring and punched him with that and that was what split him up and that'd feel deserved. To me, it didn't really feel like there was a point in the match where I'd go, oh, that's where you got busted up, and I want that out of wrestling because you don't just bleed for anything now, you know. Moxley also split him back open with a couple of headbutts later on, but no, good match. And then the ending. You talk about the match, and then we'll talk about the ending.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think we all thought MJF was going to win. That was a huge surprise that he didn't win. I feel like it was time for MJF to take the title, and I wonder now what's next in terms of keeping Jon Moxley's title run fresh. Unless you bring, Renee in or something to be a part of that. But I really, I'm struggling to see how it can remain entertaining even through the potential feud with Lance Archer now. I'm a big fan of Moxley, but I think, like you, I like him better when he's chasing stuff, although he has been a great figurehead for the brand in terms of getting eyes to the product, because obviously he was such a prominent part of WWE.
Indeed.
But yeah, it was MJF's time as, of course, an AEW original, quote unquote, I think, and I think it would have been better served with him winning the title, and I think there was a lot more longevity, I would argue, in an MJF run than perhaps Jon Moxley's, but that's just me saying that. That's my opinion. Really clever match. Sometimes I underrate Jon Moxley's in-ring intelligence, but I think he's one of the best in terms of a school, sort of a student of the game. I think Moxley is actually quite underrated. And I think that they have a really clever match and a really well thought out match. Some really cool spots, particularly the ending with the sort of the illegal double arm DDT.
Wardlow throws in the ring. The ref is distracted by the diamond ring being thrown in. MJF goes to pick it up, but Moxley's already caught onto him and delivers the paradigm shift whilst Wardlow is still arguing with the ref.
Yeah, and then he gets a win. It was, it was very cleverly done.
Indeed.
Very cleverly done. Nice end. Obviously, Moxley is a figurehead for the brand, and I understand it from a business perspective, I suppose, right now, in the COVID era, why they want that kind of star power at the top of that brand. But equally, I was really disappointed and quite surprised that MJF didn't win, because I think he's had some stellar promo work. But I would say that for a main event, it's probably my third favourite match of the night, maybe even fourth. It was good. I
feel that way with every Moxley match, though, dude. Honestly, I really do. I feel like it doesn't sort of grab me as much as it should.
Yeah, I can understand. I can understand that. But yeah, overall, about 3.5 for me on the pay-per-view. Like I say,
so 3.5 out of 3.5 in total. So I'm going to give it 3 3/4. I thought it was 4. Every match was great. There was just a couple of angles I wanted to go a little bit further. But like, you don't get that on WWE, man. You don't get every match being great. And the one match that wasn't was a match where clearly a botch happened. You know.
No, I understand that. Like I say, I think the Joker card at the Battle Royal kind of disappointed me. Although I am a big fan of Matt Seidel's work, it would have
How
been.
did that disappoint? It was one of the best points of the night. It was hilarious.
Just hilarious, but you know what I mean. I think there could have been a few more high spots, we'll say, on this pay-per-view to make it more memorable for me personally. But I like the fact you enjoyed it.
Favorite match?
The tag team title match.
Tag team title match is, I agree, mate. And favorite performer?
Omega
was amazing. Yeah, Omega's incredible in the ring. That's interesting to hear you say that as well. We'll see where it goes in the future. What's going to happen with Kenny Omega's gimmick? Who knows, man? Let us know what you thought, how many Gimme a Whole Year stars you'd give this pay-per-view in the comments, because I'm going to read through your comments and answer any questions that you have. Rock and roll. Jack, the timestamps took a while tonight, but loads going on tonight. Mate, it was a 5-hour show. And what did you think about the length of it, dude?
Mate, it was long. It was long.
But I was fine with it. Like, it was long, but we had some decent wrestling, and like I felt like I got my money's worth. Yeah,
I think that's it. Obviously, we had to pay separately from the fight subscription that we have. So that was a bit of a bummer, really. So I guess we did get our money's worth in that respect.
Yeah. Emma says, "Hey, you guys." Emma woke up. Emma woke up to say hello to you. That's lovely. That's adorable. That's totes adorbs, one might say. Jack says someone's about to steal all of WWE's Twitch domains, probably. Dom, thank you for calling Matt's injury what it was. Horrific. Yes, it was. It was horrific. Absolutely horrific. I'm good, thanks. Very nice. Dentists always have drills in case you need your shelves putting up.
I mean, yep, of course.
Sami Talks says hello. Hello, Sami Talks. Welcome to the channel. Jack says, hey, Sami. Botch Guy joined us. Botch Guy's got an awesome channel. He doesn't need me to, tell you, but we was on there doing trivia, me and Jack, the other night, and it was hilarious, Dom. You're going to have to join us next week, Dom.
I love him.
It was absolutely hilarious. He's an awesome YouTuber. Wonderful reactions to Bailey and Sasha breaking up, which is on his channel. So go check him out. And he says, "Give me a whole year." Awesome, damn, did you get a new camera? No, I didn't, but the colour does look different. I don't know why, dude. I don't know tech. Jack says, was Matt's debut any worse than Titus World Slide? Yes, it was, because Matt Titus World Slide wasn't a debut. And was it so bad that the commentary just completely lost it for 5 to 10 minutes?
That was the reactions were funny, yeah.
Yeah, I was just
of the debut of Titus. I mean, Titus World Slide.
Ah, right, yeah. No, we was laughing here. No, they tried to keep it under control.
Yeah, they did.
Kobe Talks About Wrestling. Again, another guy with an awesome channel who's just made a thumbnail, which is awesome. Kobe Talks. He joined me for a WCW watch along earlier this week, so go check that out and go check his channel out. He'll have a very quick review, I'm sure. Jack says he's off to sleep. No, all good, mate. It is, nearly 6 a.m. I can understand that. Holt Cabana. Very good. We've got a new Hull pun. Emma's still in chat. Emma rocks. Kobe Talks About Wrestling. Mox versus MJF was like an old school main event. Yes, it was. It was. But again, what I'm sort of saying with these variety shows of AEW is sometimes it works to their detriment because you're used to a different pace. And so when you have a tag match like FTR and Hangman and Thingy, and then you have another match. What was the match after that?
The Hangman thing was...
It was Jericho and Orange Cassidy. It can feel like a real change of pace, and sometimes that's not beneficial. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
I mean, like I said, it was an interesting pay-per-view. Some really good matches overall.
Bless you, Dom. The puppy woke me up, so I thought I'd say hello. Well, go and give little Lucifer a little cuddle. Lucifer. You was calling him Lucifer earlier.
I called him Lucius.
No, you said his name's Lucius, but I call him Lucifer because he's like the devil.
No, I didn't say that at all, but okay.
Did you know that Lucius is one of the founding members of the Temple of Satan?
There you go.
Which is a satanic cult in America. America. There we go. That's all I've got. And that's all you've got. That's all we've got. We're done.
We are done. It's 5:54 in the morning, guys. Thank you very much for checking us out. If you are new to the channel or you come to us when we are sleeping this evening or this morning and come up on our channel, please do like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. My love to everybody, including Emma and the puppy.
Emma says she's got someone in bed with her.
My love, it's the puppy.
It's not the dog.
My love to you, Anthony, as well. Thank you very much for being a part of this with me. Thanks to Jack for moderating. Thanks to the botch guy and everybody else involved. What I like to do for people that are new and people that come to the channel is I like to count down to finish with a 5 count, a bit like a Claymore from Drew McIntyre. And then at the end of it, we shout "Hull yeah." If you're in the UK or Europe, probably best to whisper "Hull yeah" instead of shouting.
Or fart it.
But if you're in the US, of course, please do shout 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hull yeah!
I pumped it, Dom.
This is the hardcore legend, Mick Foley. Well, hello and welcome to Give Me a All Yeah. I hope everyone there, right there in Yorkshire, is having a nice day. Bang, bang. Have a nice day. Yeah.